All right, hello everyone, and we are back, and we are going to be jumping straight into Spyro Attack the Rhynocs with Breadghost. The commentary is going to be done by JakeInTake. What is up, guys?
Hey,
What's up?
how's it going?
Doing good, dude. I'm actually so intrigued by the Game Boy community because you're so isolated from the rest of the Spyros. It's pretty cool,
I
honestly.
know. Yeah,
Um,
it's kind of crazy. The Game Boy games I feel like aren't run as much. Obviously they're not run as much as the main series, but they're honestly very, very good speed games. I think this game was my very first speed game actually, and I've always enjoyed running it. It's always been very fun. So hopefully people will get a kick out of it.
Yeah, and I actually see that based on the leaderboard, you're like by far the most recent runner in this game. It doesn't seem like it's had too much activity recently. So is there
Yeah, it's been like I think Jumpy Luff was one of the first runners of the game, doing 80%, 100%. I started running it in 2015. I ran it for a couple weeks, but I was a dumb 17-year-old back then. I didn't know how to record video, so I couldn't keep advancing, so I stopped for a really long time. Then I picked it back up again this year with 100%, because I'd always wanted to learn this category, and just got back at 80% as well. And so I've been running it a lot lately, prepping for this marathon. It's been really fun. And honestly, this category is one of my favorite speedrun categories to run, so it'll be a good show, I think.
Awesome, and I'm really excited to see it. So if you are ready to jump into that,
all right.
Let's see what you
I'm
got.
just gonna say just a couple things before I start. I want to define 100% for everybody. 100% in this game, we need to collect 9,000 gems. We need to collect all the bonus items. We need to collect the 12 hearts of the land, which are the main items of the game. And to do that, we collect a whole bunch of other items to get those hearts. But you'll see that, and all the upgrade items as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this started. You want me to give a countdown? Should I give a countdown?
Yeah, go for it.
I guess I'll just go. Okay, so we're starting in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so we start off with a little tutorial here. We can mash start to get through that little picture, nice little picture of Spyro and Sparks blindfolded there. So basically, the story of this game is that the professor wants to show Spyro and Sparks some things. Typical professor stuff. He's inventing, he's doing his thing. And unfortunately, something goes wrong. And that peephole thing we just went up to, which you could see Ripto through, who's the main bad guy of this game, is going to explode very soon. And cause Ripto to be able to take over the world. So we have to stop him, basically. That's basically what the story is.
Yeah, there's a lot of text in this area, and it's very annoying.
Yeah, so this area is primarily movement. There's no gems here, no items to collect. This is just the tutorial, teaching you how to charge, use your breath, how to jump, hover, glide, and all that fun stuff. Typical Spyro things. Charging is the fastest form of movement, as you might expect. And there are 3 breath abilities in this game. There's fire, ice, and wind. We have access to fire and wind from the start. Fire is by far going to be the most used. Wind is kind of useless for a little while, then we end up finding some uses for it. Ice we'll get in a little bit as well. And so it's just a quick little tutorial area. And now we get to Butler. Butler's a fun character. We're going to be fighting him a lot.
I hate Butler so much.
Oh yeah, he's very annoying. Sometimes he just doesn't like to follow you.
Yeah.
Basically the idea is just get him to follow you to something that will short him out. Here we do a little jump there and get closer to Ripto here. So text in this game doesn't really start until the character that's speaking is on screen. So by being this close to Ripto, the screen doesn't have to scroll as much, so we save a little bit of time. So right away, we're gonna jump right into the gem collecting.
Dragon Shores, but not the same Dragon Shores as Spyro 2.
Oh, absolutely not. So, Sparks collects gems, and Spyro can also collect gems. So you'll see me like trying to jump into these barrels that I'm breaking. That's so I get Spyro to land on the gems that are coming out, so that Sparks has less work to do. But sometimes Sparks doesn't like to do his job. Sometimes he just ignores the gems you're trying to
Yeah.
get. And that's especially annoying in 90% as well, because you need to collect gems in 90% as well.
Yeah, you'll see that run tomorrow.
Yes, that's tomorrow
Great
evening.
time.
Tune in for that. Something you'll also see me doing is I'll jump and I'll breath while turning in midair. The hitbox of the fire breath is very, very big. So by jumping and turning in the air, it actually gives you like a splash damage hitbox. It lets you hit a lot more barrels at once than you probably should be able to.
Into Fairy Library.
Yeah, now we're entering the first major area of the game besides Dragon Shores. Dragon Shores is kind of the hub world of the game. So something cool about this game is that it's not like a lot of other Spyro games. I think in a lot of other Spyro games you have to go through these gateways into the individual world. But in this game, this game is mostly open world actually.
Compared to Season of Ice and Season of Flame, where there's defined portals, as in like Spyro 3, Spyro 2, like the original games. But yeah it's much more open.
This one kind of turns the formula on its head and creates more of an open world. You don't like have your gems going into a chest between every world. It's just kind of all stored up in the journal that we'll be seeing a lot later. Right now, I'm just kind of meandering about getting gems. You'll see me putting out these books. Oh, okay, that's not what I wanted to do. Thankfully, in this game, as opposed to Season of Ice and Season of Flame, there's no live system. So Spyro has infinite lives. If you fall in the water, he just gets sent back to the last place he came out of. There's no like game over. I don't know. I wasn't really watching Season of Flame run, but it seemed like RDA was doing some game over abuse a little bit. We do some death warps in this run, especially in some of the sub-missions, which we'll see later. This game has those too. And we'll also see a couple of Spyro as well. But typically falling in water doesn't lose too much time. Right there, we just got a quest. Quests are what we need to get in order to get the hearts, which, as I said, are the main items of the game. We need the 12 Hearts of the Land to seal that rift that the Professor accidentally created when Butler got destroyed. So, they're very important.
Yeah, they're comparable to like a talisman for like, the Spyro 2.
That green thing right there is called a chest. I'll explain what that does later. When we get to the sub-areas, where it's tied into the sub-areas a little bit. Here. So this is actually like one of the most intense areas in the run, because there's so much going on. There's so much breath switching going on between fire and ice. Since ice isn't quite as strong as fire, fire's the stronger breath. So I like to have fire as a default. So if I'm not needing the other two breaths for anything, I just have fire set.
Hey, it's a boss fight.
Yeah, this is a boss
fight.
in
the first level.
Yeah. There's Ripto. He's just gonna warp away. He doesn't want to fight us yet. He's scared of us. So this guy is weird. He has these invisible invincibility frames. I count to 6 before trying to hit him again, because otherwise your breath doesn't work on him. Okay, now
I just like gas based on the music of when to hit him.
Yeah. I count to 6. That usually works for me. So what we just got is a quick escape book. That's actually one of the items necessary to beat any percent. One of 8 items. That lets us go back to this spot whenever we use it. That'll be useful throughout the first part of the run for like fast travel. But eventually it'll kind of get replaced by that same warp device we just saw Ripto use once we beat the 90% portion of this run. We'll just use that for some fast travel. You'll see it a couple times. Recently I came up with a new route for this game that actually removed one of the uses of that, which saves about 14 seconds. And that new route that I'm using today saves about 30 seconds overall. So now we're heading to the ice levels, Bird Barracks and 80 Serengeti. In Bird Barracks, we'll see one of the first sub-areas that we'll be visiting. There's two types of sub-areas. One of them is Agent 9, which you would have seen in Season of Flame. However, the Agent 9 missions in this game are very different and much more difficult.
Yeah, they're very annoying.
Yeah, and very annoying because there's some janky enemy range detection things. You'll see.
Yeah, that's the
Sergeant
reason why
Bird missions are pretty cool. Okay, go ahead.
Oh yeah, that's the reason why I run any percent, because I don't want to have to do the Bird or Agent 9 levels because they're absolutely terrible.
Yeah, I think the Bird missions are fine. The Agent 9 missions can go die in a fire.
Oh yeah.
Like, I've lost so many runs to, like, completely BS enemy vision ranges. Basically, the Agent 9 missions are stealth missions, and so you have to avoid being seen by the enemies. It really isn't as hard as it seems, but sometimes you get the occasional enemy that has eyes in the back of their head, or you just get seen from a ridiculous distance. And sometimes you just don't get seen from a ridiculous distance. It's ridiculous. So we'll be coming up to First Sergeant Bird very quickly here. So gems are found in these banners. They're found in barrels, vases, and also within enemies. So this entire game is a complete routing mission, actually. You have to kill every single enemy in the game. Well, actually, there are a couple that you don't have to kill, but they're faster to kill anyway, because they're really annoying. I'll point those out when we get to them.
Like that last Rhynoc, you have to wait until he's above ground to kill him, which is very
those guys
irritating.
are very annoying, yes.
If you don't catch one right cycle.
The bird missions are rescue missions in which you have to save these 10 penguins. There's a few techniques I use in these. I'll point them out when we get to them. They're kind of hard to explain individually. One of them is mashing. The harder you mash in this, the higher you go fast. The faster you go, higher. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if I mash very hard, typically I'll go higher faster. And that's affected by how many penguins you're holding. You can hold as many penguins as you want, but they will weigh you down.
Yep.
So managing which penguins you grab at which times is very important, especially in some later missions, later Sergeant Bird missions. There's 4 of each, Sergeant Bird and Agent 9. And each one, it gets progressively more difficult, although the last Sergeant Bird mission I find to be much easier than the third one, so even though the enemies get much harder. So right here, I really should figure out how to reroute this. You can't fit 4 penguins through that gap. So that's one of the things I'm talking about is
you gotta wait for them.
Managing your penguins to where you can get as many as possible without stopping, basically.
Did you pick up that last one?
Yeah, I should have 7. Yep.
Okay, I didn't even hear it.
Yeah, it's a GBA game, so sounds get overlapped a lot.
Yeah.
And sometimes you lose sound effects, and audio cues are not very helpful. Another technique I use is dropping, which you just saw there. If you push a penguin against a wall, it falls all the way down. That's useful when you just don't want to be carrying too many penguins at once. Typically, I'll use it when I need to do a vertical distance, or I don't want to be carrying a lot of penguins. You'll see that in the next one. Use it for a certain strat. So that was the first Sergeant Bird mission. They're pretty fast. Agent 9 missions take a lot longer because Agent 9 moves a lot slower. Bird missions are in a much more confined space. So the route I'm using now is pretty similar to the 80% route. The only difference from the 80% route is that we do Banana Savannah a little bit later. There is a skip in 90% that we'll talk about when we do the 80% run, where you can get to Banana Savannah without an item that you're normally supposed to have.
Basically, it's the item that creates those ice paths. It's like is it like mint gum? I forget what it's called.
It's not that item. Oh yeah. Actually, yeah, that item. Sorry.
Yeah, it's the one that
now.
Yeah.
The one I just got in Bird Barracks, basically. that I used just there to create an ice path.
I forget what it's like. Something. It's like a green like.
Yeah, it's a breath.
I don't know what it's. I don't know what it's called.
This game is very quirky. So the
I
item
don't know
to power
the lore.
The items and just like the worlds in general are very strange. Like you see there's like skeleton fish in the walls in this area, yetis and pickaxes lying all over the ground, and then like the items that you collect are very strange as well, because like the powered up breaths, for ice you have a breath mint, for fire you have a jalapeno, I think.
Yep.
For like electricity you have a dynamo that somehow lets you power up your wind breath. So it's a very quirky game and very charming, I think, in that regard.
You get a statue for the head bash.
Yeah, for a ground pound. Yeah.
Yeah.
For a ground pound, you get like a little kangaroo statue. It's really funny.
And like somehow you just like know how to suddenly do the ability based off that item.
Yeah. We'll be seeing the ground pound later, but ground pound is honestly one of the least common abilities used in this run because it's just not useful for anything besides the things that it's useful for, which is
like the puzzle and Ripto's Chateau Ripto.
The puzzle. There's another one of those in Kangaroo Hooters as well where we get this.
Oh, true. Yeah. You have to break all of the televisions in
Yeah, and Kangaroo Hooters as well, and that gives you an item. There's those little side quests in some of the worlds where you get an item out of it. It's kind of a similar structure to Ice and Flame, where you have to like light up a certain number of lighthouses or burn such and such thing on the ground so many times. It's just a little bit more fleshed out with these little side quests, I think. And you get an item out of it, typically, instead of like a fairy or a firefly.
So this guy cut himself in half.
Yeah. So right now we're reuniting the back half of the back half of Uncle O'Hare with the front half, because he's a magician. He managed to cut himself in half. We don't know how he did that. This is a very strange world that we live in.
It's never explained why he's just cut in half. Yeah,
he's practicing, It didn't go well. So again, I fell in the water there, but it didn't take me very far back. It just took me back to the end of the level. I just had to go get him again. It's a very forgiving game. If you start falling in the water too many times, though, you start losing a lot of time, and that's never fun. This right here is basically an auto-scroller, where you have to destroy some Rhynocs. I think that how fast it is dependent on RNG, because sometimes you get two of these guys popping out, and sometimes you just get one like that. So you want to see two guys popping out typically, and we can use kind of the splash damage breath to get multiple at once, sometimes even as they're popping out. It's like a deranged game of whack-a-mole, basically.
Also, Saint. Yes, Bianca is in this world.
Yeah, Bianca is in this world. We won't be seeing her till the second visit, though, so that'll be a little while.
Yeah, she has a quest for us. She's like above where you enter this level. She's like right above in the backside.
Yeah. So a lot of Spyro's allies from past games are quest givers, meaning that they give you a quest to get a heart. So Bianca, Hunter, Sheila, all of them are quest givers, among other people as well. Other characters that are introduced in this game, like the monkeys that you see here. So here I'm going to do another quick escape. Now we're going to go to Banana Savannah. I really like 100% that you don't have to do the Banana Savannah early strat that we'll be seeing in 90%. It tends to be inconsistent. And so we're coming up to our first purchase of the run. What I mean by that is that Moneybags will eventually take all of our gems in exchange for items that we need. So, great guy. Doing his part, taking our gems. That's why we need all 9,000 gems. As a matter of fact, 5,500 of those gems go directly into Moneybags' pocket for the wind upgrade and the Heart of Moneybags Mansion. So, and the rest of them for necessary items throughout the run. So, Moneybags really doing his part here.
Yeah. Was it his little brother who takes like 2,000 and before you can enter?
No, Moneybag's the only person who takes money from you.
Oh, okay, but he like has a little brother in this game or something, or like a cousin.
Yeah, it's his nephew. I think it's his nephew.
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
Yeah, he has a nephew named Moneybags in this game. Fun thing here where I kill music. I don't normally do that because I usually get the pepper first. What we just got there is he powered up Fire Breath. What I should mention is that we need all 3 powered up breaths to beat Ripto at the end of the game, or in the middle of the game for this run. Because you'll see, the boss fight just revolves around using the powered up breaths to send Ripto's attacks back, or have Ripto send your attacks back at you, basically. The gimmick in this area is that there's these banana plants here, and they warp you around to different areas of the world. There's always 3 tied to one of those roots that I was just hitting with fire. Hitting the root changes which banana plant goes where. It's not as complicated as it sounds, I promise.
You should know how many times you hit it, because it could send you somewhere totally different than where you want to go. So
it's really important to keep it in mind how many times you've hit it. Oh, dang it! I keep falling in water. That's unfortunate.
It's very common in this level to do so.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very easy to accidentally have a bad angle and just plummet into water. Sparks, do your job.
Sparks is the bane of my existence in any percent run.
Yeah.
Because you can either be so many gems ahead or so many gems behind, just based on how Sparks is like feeling that day.
And then 100%, like, if you miss a gem, that is the biggest time loss you can have in a run. We can do a little death warp here to get back to the beginning, get this item from this guy. That's for a quest. All of these NPCs that we're doing these little mini side quests for give you items for quests. That's just what they do. You know, quick turn. Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
I missed the banana plant. It's a very, very easy thing to do. Something I should mention is that it's really hard to tell where things actually are. I would love a hitbox viewer for this game, because sometimes you just completely miss when you think you're spot on. Right there, I definitely thought I was spot on. So it'd be really nice to have a hitbox viewer for this game. I missed that one.
I'm so used to avoiding those grapes, because in the 80%, if you like grab those, it wastes like 3 seconds.
Yeah, I actually started grabbing them for a bit because I thought maybe it was tied to the cutscene skip. Then we'll talk about it.
Oh yeah.
But because I had 2 runs in a row where I accidentally grabbed the grapes and got the cutscene skip as well, but then I did it again and it didn't happen. So. But we'll talk about that when we get to it.
Yeah.
I think it's actually impossible 100%. Because my running theory about it is that it depends on the state of the game, the state the game is in, what items you've collected, what gems you've collected. Okay, so this is our first Agent 9 mission. I kind of brushed over that. It's very annoying. Oh, I could have gone there. So a lot of these missions are based on cycles. So like that camera right there, usually he's facing towards you, so you don't want to grapple hook over to this area, this spot right away. So it's a nice feature that you can actually look around using L button. And like a lot of games, this game does not scroll its cycles when they're not on screen, typically. So usually you want to be looking at your cycles most of the time. Also, crouching underneath these cameras is useful strat for avoiding them. The cameras that you see will catch you immediately. Rhynocs have about a 2 to 3 second buffer before they start screaming. Hopefully we won't have to see that at all. The screaming alarms and everything going off. Hopefully we won't see that at all. But the cameras catch you immediately if they see you, which is really annoying.
These levels were awful when I was a child.
Oh yeah, I actually, as a child, I never 100%ed this game because these levels scared me so much. It's really interesting the pattern that you see with my childhood playing this game. I only ever got one heart besides the 2 that are free that you just get during the game. I got Bianca's heart. Something interesting, I was going to talk about this later, but I guess I can talk about it now, is that Bianca's heart, all of the items required for it... Oh, dang it. I got caught. All the items required for it are not in chests. And those chests that we keep seeing throughout the world that are like red and green and purple and yellow. I don't know if we've seen any purple yellow ones yet. Those are pretty late game. They require keys from Agent 9 and Sergeant Bird. Each Sergeant Bird has a corresponding Agent 9 mission with a key color. And so if you never do any Agent 9 missions, you can never open those chests. Now, Bianca's heart quest does not require any open chests. Bentley's extra has all of his items in chests. So it's kind of a weird quirk that I actually only got Bianca's heart besides some other ones. Right there, I pulled off a very quick vacuum. We'll see a couple more of those in this level. Basically, if you're at the right spot next to a barrel or a couple of enemies, and you vacuum at the right time, you can instantly get the second enemy without having to stop. You'll see that like when he vacuums enemies up, he has to stop for a second to vacuum them up. But if you're in a certain position, you won't have to wait that second and a half or whatever that you would normally have to wait.
The fairies also save your location.
Yeah, the fairies are checkpoints. And I should have mentioned that earlier. So in Agent 9 missions are the coolest death warps. There's another double right there. So most of the Agent 9 missions are vertical. So you can use the fairies to kind of death warp, actually. Oh, by the way, this is the best animation in the game. Whee! You can use the fairies to death warp to get all the way back up to a fairy that you've checkpointed at. You'll see that most effectively used in Thieves Guild when we get there. Quick escape out of here now. And we also use that in another one as well, in Cheetah Spot Spa. The only Asian I mentioned without a death warp is Moneybag's Mansion, actually. Okay, so here's our second Butler fight. The first time we only had to hit him once with something that was short amount. Now we would hit him 3 times with these rain clouds. In order to keep him following us, we kind of have to keep him at a close range, close distance to us. So that he stays interested all the way through the clouds. Each Butler fight, he gets progressively faster. So the first Butler fight is pretty slow. This one he's kind of faster, and the last one he's very, very fast. And you're also in a much smaller area, so it gets really annoying. And now I know you all spent channel points for that incentive that we had for changing Spyro's color. Don't worry about that. We'll be getting that soon. We just passed the area where the item is. I elected to wait until we actually get to that area to get the item. But you will see it, and we will have it for about an hour of the run, and it'll be epic. Right there, we just spawned a little bridge. That'll let us get over to the east side of the world, which is where Kangaroo Hoodoos and Moneybag's Mansion and Cheetah Spot Spa are. So the reroute I made, there was actually another level that was in this particular segment, which is Thieves Guild. The reroute now does Thieves Guild at the end of the 90% portion instead of in the middle of it, because this is a Ripto fight, by the way. Rehashed their Season of Flame, but this one's a little different because Ripto doesn't have a hitbox.
Do you not skip this fight?
Yeah, you have to do this fight because you get.
Oh, you need the item. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you need the item from it. Yeah, in 90% you can actually skip this fight completely, and we will see that happening in 90% run tomorrow. But yeah, anyway, so Thieves Guild and Cheetah Spot Spa are the only 2 worlds in the game that don't have a necessary item to complete it, which is why they aren't ever visited in any percent. So I elected to put Thieves Guild towards the end of the run since it doesn't really matter for any other routing purposes. Right here, we're going to do a pretty hard jump. This is kind of inconsistent, but if you can get it within a few tries, it's not that bad. This is just faster than the normal way to get up here.
It's also seen in 90% as well.
Yeah, this is also 90%. Done directly after the Ripto boss fight skip, which is always
a lot
fun.
of skips right in a row. It's very stressful.
Yeah, this run is constantly moving. Can I get it? Okay, I need to fight a little later. Come on. Come on. I keep getting stuck on the wall. There we go. Yeah, I think that just screws with the geometry a little bit. The geometry there is just a little bit lower than it should be. Here's our second Sergeant Bird mission. This one's a little scarier because there's spikes everywhere. And the enemies are a bit harder, but that we can't handle. Let's see some more use of dropping in this particular mission. There's a very dangerous little corridor up here that I just passed through. If you try to pass through this corridor with 3 penguins, you're asking for a bad time. So what I like to do is I like to drop these 2 here. Because we'll be going back down there later to get the last penguin. And also the last few gems. So it doesn't really matter that we're dropping them there. I think usually I would only drop 1, so it's a bad idea to drop 2. The reason I do that is because this spike right above me right there, that spike's hitbox is massive. I don't know why, it's huge. And it's very easy to hit it if you're holding 3 penguins. So again, just routing the penguins in such a way that you're going to be avoiding as many hazards as possible, many like narrow corridors as possible. And this guy down here is a bit of a troll as well. Sometimes he shoots a little early and hits you right into the spikes. This is probably the longest segment of the run, is the segment leading up to Kangaroo Hoodoos. Because you have the Ripto boss fight, you have this mission, and everything's going into Kangaroo Hoodoos. I also didn't mention, there are gems in the Agent 9 Sergeant Bird missions, and you need every single one of them, so missing one is not an option. So if I miss one in one of these missions, it's actually one of the worst gems you can miss. I know where all of them are, so hopefully I won't do that this run, but I have missed some in the past. Right here, this is a bit... Oh, I dropped them. Okay, never mind, it's not cool anymore. Typically, I'm able to actually, like, fly straight up here without stopping if I don't drop one of the 3 penguins. By accident.
Also, I don't know if you noted this yet, but the circular pie figure, that's your health bar.
Oh yes, yes, that's the health meter for this.
Yeah.
You have 5 hits essentially. If you get depleted down to 4 hits, you're at risk of dying. If you die in these missions while having penguins out of their cages and not in the tent, you have to re-free the penguins, which is very annoying, and it sucks a lot. So you really don't want to do that.
Yeah, your health gets replenished anytime you go to the tent, though.
Yes. So if you're very low on health, it's sometimes good to just play it safe and take the penguins you have to the tent if you're close enough. That's it for that mission. And these guys will give us the second green key half. We got the first green key half in Banana Savannah from Agent 9. So now we have the ability to open green chests. In the old route, at this point, we would also have the ability to open red chests, because we would have done Thieves Guild Agent 9 as well. So right here, we open our very first chest. It has an item inside of it. Chests can have items or gems. We need to open every single one, so it doesn't really matter what it has inside of it. We're going to open every single chest. And now we're going to be heading off to Kangaroo Hoodoos. A little bit of time here. So we aren't able to do any sort of early sequence break for this level because the loading zone is a lot further away. The reason the Banana Savannah one works, that we'll see in 8%, is because the loading zone is so close to the edge of the shore that it's just reachable.
Precise, but reachable, yeah.
Yeah, very, very tight timing, but we'll see.
Also, you did a small skip there with skipping over the
Yeah.
other wooden platform.
Yeah, it's just faster than charging the breath up again. The charging the breath up takes a couple seconds. We don't want to do that. That's a waste of time. This kangaroo here will give us the butt slam trophy or statue, whatever it's called. We'll be using that exactly, let's see, 10, 11, 12...
12 times?
14 times. 15 times. 15 times in the run. 10 TD,
oh, okay.
10 TDs, a Ripto statue, 2 puzzles.
Okay, yeah.
And that's it. So
good math.
pretty useless otherwise. I think it can be used to kill enemies, but it's very slow, so you don't do that. Usually to kill enemies, you just use fire. I also did not need to hit that button. I don't know why I did it. So I should mention that you saw me go into a Mighty Max Vault at the very beginning of this run. Oh, I need to go this way. In Dragon Shores. We aren't entering any Mighty Max Vaults, though, until Thieves Guild, because most Moneybags Vaults after Dragon Shores have chests in them, which obviously we can't open until we have... Oh, that's good. You want that medical entity. You can't open those chests to have keys for them. So once we have all 4 keys, we'll be starting to enter the vaults in each world, which is why we need to revisit every world in the game at least once. A few worlds we'll revisit a second time as well. Now we have to hit these hedgehogs into statues and break them. Again, very quirky game.
What's funny about the puzzles is, like, you only need to move 2 pieces in order to solve them.
Yeah. And if you know what 2 pieces those are, it goes very quickly.
Yeah. Like, those took me a long time as a kid to figure out, but it's just obliterated by the speedrun.
Oh, is that green? I wasn't even paying attention to Sparks' health. Don't do that. This area is a bit of a mess because there's enemies flying around everywhere. And... Oh, I screwed up. I should have hit those hedgehogs earlier.
Yeah, you have to make sure you time it right, or else the hedgehog will burrow into the ground and have to restart.
Yeah, usually I try to get the hedgehog to hit the statue first. I got a little disoriented because the flying guys were distracting me.
Yeah, I think you have about like 5 seconds to hit it.
Yeah,
might be less than that.
I think it's a little longer actually. I think it's really cool that each world has its own flower that you pick up for Bianca's quest. That's what Bianca's quest is, collecting flowers. But each world has like its own individual identity with the flower. It's really nice. And it kind of makes sense that the flowers wouldn't be in chests because flower stuff can't grow in chests. So.
Oh, it's Sheila, by the way.
Yeah, that's Sheila. She just gave us a quest. Her quest is to find all the museum artifacts for Kangaroo Hoodoos. Where that museum is, I have no idea, but... Oh, wait. Okay, don't want to forget to talk to her. I forgot to talk to this kangaroo, Annie, in a D-Rust run, and I lost a lot of time for that. Because I actually had to look up what item I was missing and figure out where it came from. And when I finally figured out I forgot to talk to her, I was like slamming my head in my desk. Like, how did I forget this? Here. Alright, now we're heading to Moneybags Mansion. In Moneybags Mansion, we get the last item that's actually necessary to beat the game, which is the Dynamo. That's the last item you get. And that last necessary item, you get 90%. It just works out that way. Here we're coming up to our final Butler fight. We'll be seeing Butler again, don't worry, but this is the last time we'll be fighting him. So right here, we pay him 2,000 gems just to get into his mansion, and then we don't even get into his mansion, his Butler busts in.
It's a ripoff.
Yeah, it's a big ripoff. And that gem requirement is the reason 90% is 20 minutes long. If you didn't need gems, you could probably do 90% in probably under 15 minutes.
Because you have to go back to where you start, essentially. Yeah. And you just need that wind power up.
So these enemies are what I was talking about earlier when I said you don't really need to kill every enemy in the game. These guys don't drop gems for some reason. I can't explain to you why. It's just nice to kill them because they slow you down if you don't, so... And now we can enter Moneybags Mansion as we freed, or we powered up the generator again that opened up the door. Moneybags has very, very good security.
See all those cameras.
Yep. Of course, we're just robbing his mansion anyway. You saw me collect a gem right there, and there's one right here as well. Those gems are actually in the places where enemies are on your second visit to this area. Why did I do that? Yeah, I didn't want to hit that cat right away, but I did it anyway for some reason. These cats, you have to move them to the switches to put down these spiral twisty things that hurt you a lot. Put that down later. Right, here's our second Agent mission. Wait, second in this route.
Second.
It used to be the third one. Oh no. Ah, dang it, the hitbox didn't work. That's fine. But sometimes, like, your vacuum just doesn't trap the dudes. Even though it probably should. This is actually the only agent I mission without a death warp. I don't want to die at all in this one. There's a spot where if I die, it's actually kind of bad. Because I lose a ton of time. Yeah, there's no fairies positioned in good spots in this one, so death warping is not particularly useful. And free this guy through the ceiling for some reason. Yeah, just standard Agent 9 stuff. Trying to keep up with the cycles here. The cycles might be a little screwed up though, because I died at the very beginning. I don't know.
That was close.
Yeah. You actually have a lot of time when the cameras are facing the screen. Because they won't see you if they're facing the screen. You can precisely jump between these bombs, so I'm gonna play it safe and not do that. So the green guys, those green Rhynocs, like what I just sucked up in this, are actually, their vision range is like completely broken. Some of them. When we get deeper into the level, you'll see. But that's what I'm talking about when I say some of these Rhynocs have eyes in the backs of their heads. Because they just see you from absolutely ridiculous distances. Yeah, like I said, a little bit of a buffer before the Rhynoc actually catches you, starts screaming, sends off the alarms, so I have minute amount of time to actually suck them up. But you can delay it a little bit if you need to, if you're falling. If you're falling and you suck something up, then Agent 9 just skips the vacuum animation as well. It's always nice to find those little optimizations in these missions. Because Agent 9 honestly does not move very fast, if you haven't noticed.
Yeah, compared to Spyro 3, when he zooms. Yeah. There's no zigzagging in this game.
Part's very annoying. This guy right here, that green guy is very capable of ruining runs. Because sometimes he pops up facing the wrong direction. These guys have killed more runs than I care to count. Because that one on the right there has eyes in the back of his head. He can literally see you from... Yeah. I was definitely behind him there, and he still saw me. So that kind of sucks. That's very unfortunate. I gotta wait for this again. I don't want to too fast here. I'm just gonna play it safe. Usually, okay, what you want to see here is you want to see them either both facing the same direction, or you want to see them facing away from each other, or yeah, like that.
It's cycle based, right? It's not like RNG.
Yeah, yeah, I think it is cycle based. Sometimes you just get a bad cycle. This guy's also caught me before, so I'm just gonna not mess with him. That sparkly stuff you see there is called radiation. I'll be using that in Cheetah Spots by Agent 9. I won't be using it here, it's not very useful. But that radiation makes you invisible to the cameras, which is very, very helpful for a strat in Chia Spot Spa. So, which we'll be visiting next. Thankfully, we get all the Age of 9 missions done pretty early, so all of the submissions get done by the end of the 90% portion. So the cleanup is all Spyro, and it moves very, very quickly. I think the reason this category isn't run too much is just because these missions kind of break up the pace of the run a little too much. I used to think that it was a nice break, but once you get really, really good at the Spyro movement in this game, having to do Age of 9 in the middle of it is like, can I get back to Spyro, please?
Yeah, it's the reason why I've only ever done any percent in this game. I watched like Jumpy's runs of this before, and I was just like, nah, I don't want to do Bird Age of 9.
Yeah. Not for everybody.
Definitely not.
Alright, so now we begin the long, arduous climb. As I said, there's no real good death warps here. No fairies, like, in our path, like, higher up. So we just have to kind of walk it. Or we can't avoid the fairies that we already hit, so... kind of long. A bit of a difficult jump coming up here. Sometimes this game likes to eat inputs. I've been told by RDA actually that there's a frame on the Game Boy player that eats inputs. So I wonder if that happened to me on that jump before that I just did, that double jump, and that's not good. That's very bad.
It's definitely happened to me with that. The jump in to get to Banana Savannah.
Yeah.
And that's like when you don't want that to happen at all because it's very precise.
That was a very unfortunate death. That's actually a very bad place to die because we're very far away from the last fairy. I don't know how that happened actually. Must have hit A too early. Something I should mention is that if you grapple and hit a bomb while you're grappling, you actually soft lock. So...
Oh, what? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's really common in Thieves Guild if you're not careful. Sometimes you turn the wrong direction at a certain spot, and you just hit the bomb and you just can't do anything about it. So, thankfully it's only happened to me once, and I've learned to avoid it. But you gotta be careful of that as well.
The only soft lock I know of in this game is if you get on the boat incorrectly to go to the ice.
Yeah, that's actually happened to me before as well.
Yeah, that's something I discovered not too long ago.
Yeah, I think I've come back to this game a few times for any percent since 2015, but like I never like got back to it seriously until this year, and that did happen on a D-Rust once.
It's just it's very odd.
Yeah, I used to play this game on an actual Game Boy Advance, but eventually my hands got too big. And if your hands are too big, the Game Boy Advance really starts hurting them after a while. So
yeah.
Eventually I was like, I can't do this anymore. I have to get a GameCube. And so I started, I got a GameCube and now I run on Game Boy Player. You can run on emulator for this game. I just prefer not to, for my own personal reasons.
I will say this, at least the any percent category has a lot of tack smashing in it. If you're continually resetting into that first tutorial area, it kills your hands after a while.
Yeah, for sure. So, I'm gonna grab these last few gems here in the Dragonfly Oasis, as this area is called, and we're gonna head out to Cheetah Spot Spa, which has some of the most annoying Rhynocs in the game.
But it has the best music.
Oh yeah.
Arguably within the entire Spyro like series. That's just my opinion. But
Yeah. I think this is also like the strangest concept of the world in this game. Because you're in this like mountainous area, right? And then you just see this door, and you go in this door, and there's an entire health club in here where the cheetahs like do their exercise, and it's just like, what is happening? And you also have these birds here that lay bomb eggs. It's like, I think it's kind of weird even for Spyro. I haven't played a lot of Spyro games. I was mentioning this to some people before. This is like the only game I played extensively, so this wasn't weird to me. But then I started playing other Spyro games, and I was like, wow, this isn't nearly as weird as Attack of the Rhynocs. I think this game is definitely an oddball in the series.
Yeah, they just kind of... It's probably just leftover ideas from like the other games, and they were just like, why not?
Yeah. Alright. So I like to talk to the quest givers on the first visit. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's not really worth it. But we're going to talk to Hunter here. He's a quest giver. That basically just lets us just walk up to them on the second visit when we have all the items for their quest and just get the item without having to run away and come back to them. It doesn't really save or lose any time. It's just my personal preference. I know in old records, Jumpy Love used to just talk to the quest givers on the second visit both times. Because you always have to talk to them twice. Where you start to see Tornado used for its very niche purposes. Or the wind ability, rather.
The stream is lagging a little bit, but should catch up.
I apologize for my internet. We were having some troubles with it before, but I think we got most of solved, but you might still see some few frame drops.
Spyro just like turned red for a second.
Yeah.
But don't worry, we still have the music, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, the music here is really, really nice. Some janky hitboxes, and birds, and also on these bombs. There's a really annoying section coming up with the bomb bird. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why they decided to put it in the game, but it's not good game design. I have to admit, it's one of the worst parts of this run. I'll point it out when we get there. You'll know.
There's another one. Where's the other one at? Is it in Bird Barracks?
For what?
The auto scrollers. There's like a second
we're talking
one.
about two different things. Yeah. There's one. So there's an auto scroller coming up. I'm talking about something else.
Okay. I thought you meant the auto.
But yeah, those are annoying too. So there's two auto scrollers that are where you're flying. It's kind of like I think they're called speedways, at least in Season of Ice, where you're on a rail kind of sort of thing, and you're kind of blowing up enemies and stuff. But it's just basically an auto scroller, and it's kind of annoying. And it's very easy to fail it if you're not careful. There's some cool tech in this one. The movement here is actually pretty solid. Caught by this guy. We hit that ferry up there. We'll be using that for a little death warp. A little quick. Right there. Now we don't want to hit this ferry down here. Okay, and that gem despawned. Don't worry about it. We'll get it later. That gem very commonly despawns. I'm very used to it despawning. So just hit it again here. It despawned again. No, I got it. Never mind. You don't hear the little gem collect sound, which is different in Agent 9 for some reason. And you know you didn't get it. But the weird thing is that you end up back at that ferry later anyway, so... But when you come back, if the gem despawned, it'll be there for some reason. You could just be able to pick it up later. I can't explain why, but it's just a weird property. This game's very buggy. I still think it's the best of the GBA Spyros, but it does still have its flaws. So here we're actually not gonna...
when will we see the gem community incentive? Like what?
We'll be seeing that almost like right after this particular area.
Oh, okay.
So we'll be going after this world. We'll be going to Thieves Guild, in the very entrance to Thieves Guild, we will get the item that I am referring to when I say Spyro will be changing colors a lot. And it'll give me an opportunity to talk about like the gem balance or like the gem progression in the worlds. I think in all Spyro games it's like that, where you get the lower value gems earlier in the level and the higher value gems later. But you'll really see that in the Spyro's color changes. Because in this game, that's the case. You get the lower value gems earlier in the level, and the higher value ones later. So, and it's very obvious when you see the color changes. So that's bad. So here I have the radiation, so the cameras can't see me. Well, now I don't. So I got caught. It's kind of bad. I didn't get caught though. It's good. So there's actually 5 items like the one I'm referring to, but each of the other 4 just changes Spyro's color permanently to that color, or not permanently, until you turn it off to that color. But this particular item I think is just the best item for like an incentive, just because you get to see a rainbow of colors instead of just one color. And also the other items you only get much later in the run, so. I used to be able to get this item much earlier, like as I said before, because Thieves Guild used to be a lot earlier in the run. And now we're coming up to that auto scroller that we were talking about a little bit earlier. Some chests to get some gems first. Those Rhynocs are very annoying. Hard to deal with. So this is actually supposed to be the second auto scroller we visit. You see those red things there? Those aren't actually in the first one, in Bird Barracks. And yet, I still find the Bird Barracks one to be harder, because the hitbox of what you're spewing out of your mouth is much, like, weirder, I guess, I should say. I should also mention that if you miss any of these enemies, you have to redo the entire thing, so I don't want to miss any. So I'm just going to try and focus here. I'm also not hitting red spiky dudes.
I just love Spyro's like flying animation in this. It's so like lifeless.
Yeah, he's just like floating. He's gliding along. Oh god.
It's almost like someone like has him on like a string or something, and it's just like whipping him around.
Yeah, he's like a puppet. I like the 100-pound like weights in the background just sitting there, and the spinach cans.
Yeah, it's an odd level design.
Yeah, it's interesting scenery, for sure.
And there's just cheetah print on the ground. Like, did they kill someone and then like
yeah.
skin them and put them on the like what?
Right, right. It's just like, oh dear.
I might be looking too much into this, but yeah.
Yeah, the cheetahs are kind of weird, you know. Go to the deepest ends of the earth, or the deepest, darkest parts of their souls to get their decor. The weak shall not survive. Those who do not go to the gym will become cheetah print rugs on the ground.
Don't skip leg day.
Okay, that was good. Yeah, failing that is very costly, but thankfully we did not fail that. Sometimes I can get like a good angle on the bases when they're angled like that. And I can just get all 3 of them in one charge, which is pretty fast. There's moneybags again. Guess what we're gonna do now? We're gonna pay moneybags all our gems. The funniest thing about this run is that you're paying moneybags every single gem you collect, including the ones you steal from his vault, which we'll be seeing later. So you're really, like, you're just paying him back for stealing all the time. Wait, did I miss an exercise machine? Did Spark say something? I think I missed one.
Yeah, I don't know which one.
Oh, I should be able to find it pretty quickly. It's probably one of the ones next to the vent. It's really easy to miss something there. Oh no, it's right here. Actually, that is right next to the vent, so...
I do question why those cheetahs like don't just step off the treadmill instead of like
they gotta get their workout in, man.
Just
All right, now we are entering the area where we're going to get that item. And it'll be glorious. So we're heading back this direction. We're gonna go into this cave that Butler made for us earlier. Hopefully I get this little strat here. I can try and just charge straight forward and then hang a left at a certain point to hopefully just get this thief right away. Just like that. And guess what? We're turning it on right now. Thankfully, it should put me right at these guilds, so I can just turn it on right here. This is the magic rainbow dust. No, we're not stopping using that. We're using this item. We got the points for this. So you won't see anything at first because there's only purple gems in here, so Spyro won't change color here. But as soon as we enter this level, we're gonna start seeing some... Yeah. Spyro's red now, and now he's purple. Now he's red, and now he's purple. Now he's green. So this is what happens with this item. Every time you collect a gem that's a different color than you already are, you change colors. It's epic. It's one of the greatest items in Spyro, I think. Thankfully, that guy's really easy to catch as well. Unfortunately, every time you area transition, the color goes away. But you change colors so many times, it's like not even a problem, honestly. So the old route actually used to do the Moneybags Vault here in 2 trips, but I thought that was stupid, so I rerouted it, and now I only do it in 1 trip, which is why Thieves Guild is at the very end of the 80% portion now, instead of in the middle. It's because now we're going to have the red and green chest keys, which we need to complete the Moneybags Vault in this area. As I said before, there's... Wait, no, I don't have them yet. We don't have the gems for this yet, but we will after this mission. So the last Agent 9. So after this mission, we'll have the red and green keys, which will let us full clear the Thieves Guild Vault in 1 trip. And that's just a little bit faster than what we did before, which is do it in 2 trips and not full clear on the first time. But that only doing it in 1 trip saves about 40 seconds. But it does cost time in something else that happens later that I had to route in instead. So in total, it saves about, I think, 19 seconds just doing Thieves Guild Vault in 1 trip with the old route. That's nice. So this is technically supposed to be the first Agent 9 mission, but we kind of brushed over it. So there's actually 2 death warps in this one. This is actually probably the most interesting. That's fine. We're really close. I think this is the most interesting in terms of death warps. There's a death warp you can use here to actually literally go all the way halfway back up the level. Grab that gem, actually. Kill that guy again. So I'll point that out when we get to it.
I love when those guys catch you, they literally just like vibrate in the air.
Yeah.
Good animation.
And 1 death warp right here. Gets us back to this ferry a little faster. I guess I would have to kill him anyway. Oh, I've actually never done that before. I should do that more often. Just rush that guy. He didn't even see me. He's kind of blind, actually. So this ferry right here is the key to us skipping having to climb half this level again. There is another ferry later, but I'm going to do my best to avoid her because being able to skip... This is where I soft lock, by the way. Being able to skip all the way back halfway up the level is very OP. Here. Oh, okay, that was really sketchy. Also, that guy right there is very scary. So this ferry I want to avoid for the sake of going fast. Okay, we got him. Cool. That guy's very, very scary. It's very easy to miss him with the vacuum. Isn't that gonna hit again? Okay, now we can do this death warp, and this will save us. I think it's about a minute, actually. No, maybe not a minute. Maybe like 45 seconds, climbing all the way back up to this spot. But instead, we could just death warp to the ferry, and we're just back here. It's really nice.
Yeah, you just don't want to die here.
Yeah,
it's a long way back down.
Right. Free of death warps, so we can just hit whatever we want. We're pretty safe now for Agent 9 missions. This has been Agent 9 missions, how not to do them. But yeah. Thankfully, we're done with them after this one, so that's good. And they like to put stuff behind the start in these ones, so I have to go back here. And now we have the gems to pay off money bags for this item. Unfortunately, I couldn't figure out how to route it so you would have the gems when you got to money bags. But...
At least it gives it purpose of backtracking, I guess. Like, other than having to just leave the level all the way going back through.
Yeah. I know we're red again.
Also, did they put, like, solitary confinement cells in the school?
Well, they're all thieves, so...
I guess, but... okay.
Yeah,
once again, level design.
Yeah, so now we can full clear this wall, which we couldn't do in the old route. We didn't have the keys. It's really nice. Look at that color change. Unfortunately,
lockers?
I don't know. Lockers.
It might be lockers.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Oh, here's the race. This is fun. I always felt this as a kid. Yeah, unfortunately we don't get to see yellow or blue Spyro too much because the yellow and blue gems are much rarer. But we will get to see them every once in a while, so that's nice. Oh no, I got stuck. Fine, this race is free. Optimal time here is 54. I won't be getting a 54 this one, but that's okay. It's also easy to accidentally make it so it doesn't count your lap. Because the hitbox of the finish line doesn't extend all the way to the right, so sometimes if you're too far to the right, it doesn't count your lap, then you have to redo the lap, and then you just lose. And you have to do it again. It's really annoying. I don't know if I ever beat this as a kid, actually.
I don't know. This mission caused me too much trouble as a kid.
What's that?
Like, I don't know. Compared to some of the other, like, side levels and missions, this one, I don't know, didn't give me too much trouble.
Alright. So now we're basically... we're not done with the first half, but... we're done with all of the non-Ripto levels, basically. There's 2 levels at the very end of the game. Rhynocs will talk some chat to Ripto. They're just kind of like the end game levels. We need the dynamo to access them, which is why we end with Moneybags Mansion at 80%. We'll be entering those now. And here is the worst part of this run. I think this is worse than the Agent 9 mission because it's so dumb. So there's this dragon toddler here. I didn't mention earlier, but there are these dragon toddlers that we see throughout the world. And you have to rescue 5 of them from various places. Unfortunately for this one, you have to push a bomb all the way to that statue 5 times. I don't know who designed this, but they were not very good at level design. And unfortunately, like, pushing things in this game is really annoying. I would have mentioned that in Ripto boss fight, but I forgot. Pushing things is so annoying because I think they tried to make the hitboxes round, which means in Spyro it sometimes just slips around the item like that, and it becomes really hard to push. So I usually just walk these bombs up to the statue because it doesn't lose any time. You have to watch them explode anyway before the bird respawns. So But sometimes I'm feeling gutsy. Like, see, I wasn't even like behind the bomb there. I was able to push it. Sometimes it works that way. Sometimes it's just like doesn't let you push it at all. You just push around it. But you just have to hope and pray that it works. The push mechanics are in your favor.
Yeah, they're annoying in what's the level?
Rabbit
yeah. Yeah,
it's
hats.
extremely annoying. Yeah, those hats are very annoying. This is the best item in the game, right here, that we just got. That's the antenna for Sparks. These actually let Sparks collect gems from a much wider distance, so I don't have to wait as long now to actually collect gems. It lets me speed up a little bit, because Sparks can actually detect the gems from much further away, so I can just start charging away and he will still find them. Alright, here's the second one of the Rhynocs destroying missions. This one's has tiers to it, so it's supposed to be harder, but if you stand on the lowest tier here, you can actually hit every single Rhynoc just from the lowest tier, as long as you jump for that one up there. So if you're too high up, you won't be able to hit the bottom ones. So it's just better to stay on the first level, so you can your fire can actually hit every single one of them, no matter where they pop up. Right there, it's doing some splash damage to kill two at once in one breath. And that guy just popped out, got destroyed. Let's go. And missing even one Rhynoc in here makes you have to redo it again, like everything else in this game. It expects perfection. Something I learned recently, I think you can actually destroy these guys with a charge attack. In this mission, it's not very helpful, but in the first one, it's actually kind of useful if you're careful with it. That felt really fast. A lot faster than normal. Once again, avoiding the Mighty Bag's vault, we actually don't have all the keys yet. We'll be getting the last two Sergeant Bird mission keys in this world and in Chacha Ripto. And then we'll be able to open every chest in sight. So that'll be nice. Alright, this bird mission is actually one of the scariest ones. It's really easy to die here because of the enemy placement and the spikes. I do enjoy the bird missions a lot more though still, even though this one's really scary.
Oh,
so these guys,
yeah,
the big enemies in the big gigantic flying machines, those guys are very annoying because they take a long time to kill. They take like 6, 7, 8 shots to kill, and they're very like mobile, so they can hit you really easily. So a strat I do here is I actually... Oh god, that's kind of scary. I'm losing health there. I actually don't take any penguins to the tent until I have all of them freed after those first 3. Which is very risky. If you die while the penguins are out of their cages and not at the tent, then you have to redo all of it. I think my PB actually lost a ton of time here. I think I lost like a minute here in my PB to dying. It's very costly to die. And especially in this mission where you're freeing all the penguins first before taking them to the tent. This guy is very annoying. So a lot of this one is just going around freeing the penguins, getting them in a position where I'm going to be able to rescue them all quickly. I should have mentioned way earlier that Sergeant Bird has 2 attacks. He has this bullet shooting attack and he has this rocket attack. I don't use the rocket super often. If I need to like hit an enemy that's below me, sometimes I'll use it. But typically I won't use it too often. Mostly you can kill everything with just the bullets. Do a little drop there so I don't have to fall as far. This guy... It's actually nice to hold on to some of these guys. You are heavier, so you fall faster when you're holding on, when you have penguins holding on. So sometimes you don't want to drop because you want the weights. Scary. Yeah, I got those gems already. We'll drop these guys, though. It's kind of hard to pick up 5 penguins here. So the penguins will always follow Sergeant Bird if they can see him, which is nice. And I'll be abusing that a little bit here. I haven't really tested whether it's faster to have the penguins just follow you like this, but I think it is slightly faster than going back and 3x3 carrying them to the tent. Because they just follow you all the way to the tent. Perfect. That would save a lot of time on PB. So we're basically done with our first visit to Rhynocs and Clocks here. There's a lot of purple and yellow chests. Oh hey, we're gold. Let's go. Now we're red again. And now we're purple again. Gold Spyro is actually my favorite, so sometimes I practice some strats. I go for Gold Spyro because there are items that make you permanently or semi-permanently gold, blue, red, and green as well. That are in chests scattered throughout the world.
Another puzzle that gets decimated.
Yep. We don't think too much about it. It's always 2 shots, and that's the only other one in the game. They decided they went for most things in this game. They decided we can just do 2 of each, and that's it. That's how we need to do, right? It'll take them a while to figure out the second one, I'm sure.
Yeah, this world also combines basically there's like an element from every single level that is put into this area.
Yeah, Rhynocs and Clocks and Chateau Ripto share kind of all the properties of the other worlds. Rhynocs and these hats, which we haven't seen a lot of yet, but we'll be seeing them later. Very, very quickly here, going to the final Sergeant Bird mission, the final sub-area, after which we'll be only Spyro for the rest of the run, which is very nice. And after this, we will also have access to all the keys. Very nice. This one is oddly the most straightforward Sergeant Bird mission, I think, of the 4 that we have to do. I recently changed up my route a little bit, but it's still like really, really straightforward because there's only like 2 major areas to it. I don't like having 2 health here, so I might actually do a carry back to the tent with these 2. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it because there's a really scary Rhynoc in this particular area. This guy too, I guess. Normally I would actually have like 7 penguins just sitting around right here until the very end of the level, but I wanted to have full health for this. It's a little safer. This guy up here. This is supposed to be the last area you visit in this particular area, because this guy right here is like an end game boss. He fires these little bullets and also the frickin' rockets at you. It's like really annoying. And there's spikes like all around him too, so it's really easy to die. Yeah, you can see, as I said before, gem progression typically goes from lowest gem to highest gem, even in these like submissions. So like you see the blue gem and the yellow gems there, and you realize that this is supposed to be the last area you're supposed to visit in this particular submission, because those are the highest value gems. But we went ahead and did that early anyway, because it's just nicer to do it earlier. Here, this is a bit bit tough. It's hard to do this without dropping one of these guys. Oh, I did it. Let's go. Very difficult to do that without dropping. Okay, that was probably a bad idea, actually, but I did it anyway. We have to deal with it. And there's another one of these guys. So I think where I dropped those penguins is actually on a bunch of spikes, so it might be a little dicey to deal with. I think I'll be able to get health before I go pick them up. Unfortunately, your bullets also hit the penguins that you're rescuing. That's actually is an interesting property because it makes them stop in place, which can be useful in certain parts of the run. Just in how that works, because they stop in place, and sometimes you don't want the penguins to approach you because of those like narrow corridors that you see a lot of the times, where you really can't fit more than 3 penguins through. So if you're like heading up through like a narrow corridor and there's a 4th penguin trying to walk towards you down into the corridor, you want to shoot him so that he doesn't move. Here's one of those items that dice Spyro a different color just automatically. We can also walk on the scenery here for no particular reason. I think normally you're supposed to actually use the hats to get over here.
Yep.
But I haven't done that in years, so it's much easier. That walking on the scenery is way easier than it looks. Oh, we got a purple last. I was hoping we get a gold one last. The Parks was not in our favor. Once again, this guy, same thing as the first one we fought.
Cutscene skip? Question mark.
Nope. Yeah, I don't think I've ever gotten in a 100% run. Only 90%.
It's just I have no idea what causes it.
Yeah. So basically, what can happen here is that the boss fight can actually start early, and that completely skips this cutscene that we just saw of all of these little Ricto statues powering up. It saves like 15 seconds, but neither of us, and like I don't think anyone who's ever run this game knows how it works.
No one knows.
I've gotten it a handful of times. I've never been able to pinpoint how it works. I used to think it was just mashing a charge jump, which is like just mashing RNA. Oh no. Okay, thankfully we have more health than we should here.
Oops.
Yeah, but it turns out that I don't think that really matters, since the music for the fight starts early when you get the cutscene skip. Also, we're walking during this cutscene. So it's not really tied to your charge jump at all. It's just the fight decides to start early for some reason. Now, I think what might happen potentially is maybe you die somehow. Maybe like a death is stored. That's like kind of a far-fetched idea. I've come up with so many ideas about how it might work.
Yeah, I've had so many theories.
If you die during this fight, the fight starts over from that exact position where you get the cutscene skip. So anyway,
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, now we're entering the cleanup phase of the run, where we're only playing a Spyro, and this gem doesn't want to be gotten. This is the most fast-paced part of the run. This is where the game really shines, I think, for movement and stuff, if I can actually perform the movement properly. Because you're only playing a Spyro, and it's just cleaning up all the gems you've missed, and also visiting areas you haven't even visited before, like this one, which is Professor Secret Lab 2. It's the bigger part of Professor Secret Lab. Yes, the little tutorial area expands out into this gigantic world. And now we're starting to enter the Moneybag Vaults, because now we have access to opening every single chest in the game. So we can pretty much full clear any Moneybags Vault we enter now. It's not the only reason we revisit worlds. We have to get the hearts, obviously. I did not need to do that. I missed my little quest there. So from this point on, we're basically cleaning up, getting the items we've missed, visiting areas we haven't visited, and fun along the way. This is my favorite part of the run.
Yeah, I feel like the Agent 9 and Bird levels definitely break it up a lot.
Oh,
then once it's just purely Spyro, it's a lot more enjoyable.
We get to see Blue Spyro for a little bit here as I forgot to open the vault again. If you die while the vault is open, the vault closes again. You have to hit the switches again. Kind of unfortunate time loss, but at least we get to see Blue Spyro a little more often. Look at him running around. If you can learn to get good at the Agent 9 missions and the sort of bird missions, then it's not as bad as it might seem. But still fun. Yeah, it's annoying at times. Alright. Now we have this puzzle. It's not really a puzzle. Just kind of hitting 3 switches in a specific order. So you're supposed to freeze a walrus like we did in Burt Barracks here to get all the way over to the second part of this area. But we can kind of just do this glide, hover, and we're over here now. We don't have to ride the walrus. The walrus, believe it or not, is kind of janky and not very fun to ride. So we just like to avoid that entirely. Now, you may have seen the Dragon Toddler little cutscene for this. In order to free him, we have to hit these 3 switches. These switches are very annoying because every time you step on them, you get a cutscene. Every time you step off of them, you get a cutscene. So if you accidentally hit one twice, you're losing probably about 10 seconds. So we just try to avoid hitting them twice, basically. Jeez. Oh my gosh, please. Once again, pushing physics. Very, very bad. Second switch right here. Usually I try to charge on them so that I step off them immediately. I don't have to worry about moving a certain direction. It takes a couple frames, I think. And now we're on our way over here. This is where we're going to get the most important item in the game. I've already mentioned how the antenna for Sparks is the best item in the game. This item will allow us to get the rest of the gems that we need. So there's things called virtual hideaways. We'll be seeing one very shortly here, actually. As soon as we're done freeing this Dragon Toddler. And the virtual hideaways hold the remainder of the gems we need for each individual world. Every world has a virtual hideaway, without exception. And we need to visit every single one of them. So, oh, that's actually really bad. I don't know what to do now, actually. That's very bad. I have to walk all the way back, I think. I have to walk all the way back. That's unfortunate.
I mean, couldn't you have death abused and go back
if I had death abused, I would have gone back to the start of the area because I haven't.
Oh,
entered,
okay.
I haven't entered any doors in here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the vault was in the previous area.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Unfortunately, there was no real other way to do this. So yeah, that sometimes happens. Actually, it hasn't happened to me before. Usually, I'm able to avoid that. The hitboxes on these switches are very annoying. Hey, Blue Spyro. Oh, we already got the purple gems too, so we get to do Blue Spyro again for a bit. Yay. Yeah. So this is a virtual hideaway. Let's see. There's a lot of gems in it. The hope is that after we exit this virtual hideaway, we'll see this. Okay, we missed a gem somewhere. So typically you want to have all the gems at this point from the area. I'm actually gonna check my journal real quick to see what kind of gem I missed. It's probably in this wider area. We're missing a 1 somewhere. So I think it'll be over here. It's very hard to miss gems in this particular area. Did I not get this? I didn't get this guy, of course. I don't know how I missed him, actually. Alright, so now we actually have access to that warp device. And that's really nice. That allows us to really easily fast travel to every world in the game. So that kind of replaces quick escape at this point, because it's just a lot nicer, a lot faster. For most worlds, too, it takes you to like the second area of the world. All the worlds have like a first area and a second area. There's only like 3 worlds where it takes you to the first area. The first area is usually like the smaller part of the world to kind of introduce you to the mechanics or like the characters of the world. And the second part is where everything happens. And so usually it takes you to that second part, but sometimes it's just like, nah, I'm gonna put you in the first part. But regardless, it's just a nice way to get around. We don't have to like do a lot of walking anymore. I'm also very glad that we found that gem quickly in Professor Secret Lab. Because sometimes if you're missing a gem, it could take you up to like 5 minutes to find it if you're not aware of what gem you're missing.
Yeah, they can easily be disguised in the ground too, so you can walk right by it and not even notice.
There's another one of those bags of dust that changes Spyro's color. Immediately to green. Yeah, gold Spyro. And blue Spyro. I love this item. I would turn it on for more runs if it didn't lose like 15 seconds. Nice. Yeah, it's good to know where these warp panels are for these virtual hideaways too. Okay, we want to see that banner right there every time we finish a level. Because that means we got all the gems, which usually means that we got everything in the world too. Because it's really hard to miss items unless you're not being careful. So in this revisit, we just need the vault. Wait, not yet though. I have to think. Little shortcut here. Okay, money bag. 1,600 gems for this bonus item. Which actually turns into some yellow Spyro.
Also to note, you're running along the fence posts, like the wall scenery basically, to get around there.
Yeah, you can do that in a lot of places. I also brushed over, like, you can go behind that statue right there that I just passed and just jump up onto the ledge. It's really weird. So it's just some weird geometry in this area.
Yeah, because otherwise, I forget how you even get over there naturally. I think you need like the hats.
Yeah, I forgot to do the virtual hideaway. I gotta go back and do that. You get to see more scenery running. That's good. I was like, where are the gems at that I'm missing? I forgot to do this. That might not work. Oh no, I'm actually kind of surprised. Missing a few, but that's okay. I know where they are. And now we're going to backtrack a bit. My mansion. So these enemies here were not here before. As I mentioned earlier, for some reason they just are dead when you walk into this room. I'm not sure why. I don't know if that was intentional by the developers. But they're just dead when you walk into the room on the first visit. So, but they're alive now, so we can kill them. shenanigans there. Fly straight through that spiky pillar thing. That was a skip using one of the cats to get that pillar down. Each Moneybags vault in each world is supposed to get progressively harder to get the buttons, but usually there's ways to cheese it to where like you don't really need to worry about it. So like that, I just was able to fly through the spiky thing, or the swirly thing, whatever it's called, and avoid having to get this cat entirely that's over here. Otherwise, you have to walk the cat all the way down to the button, which is a big hassle. Right. So this is another major difference from the previous route. In the previous route, we would have warped out of here. But in this route, we actually have to walk out because there's a chest in the cave that we skipped earlier because we didn't have a red key. In the old route, you were able to get that on the path in the 80% portion because you would have had the red key at that point. But in this route, you have to spend 20 seconds getting to the cave since we didn't have a red key at that point. Ooh, that was cool. Yeah, so with the antenna, Sparks can actually collect gems while you're entering a cave, which is really cool. I didn't know that Spyro would change color like that, though.
Weird thing about the caves, when you're flaming those banners, for some reason the game, like, lags a ton.
Yeah, it lags a lot. Now, there's actually a way to reduce that lag by turning off the music. Maybe RDA mentioned that in Season of Flame. In Season of Flame, that game also lags a lot. And if you turn off the music, it reduces the lag a ton. If you turn off the sound effects along with the music, the game does not lag at all. However, in 100%, it's really nice to have the sound effects because then you can tell when you collect the gems. So I prefer to keep the music sound effects on. Plus, the music is just really, really good in this game. So
yeah,
it's a shame to turn it off.
It's just awful if you're just sitting in silence for 2 hours.
Yeah. My PB did do that. I did turn off the music in my PB, but it didn't really help me. I really feel like it's not super worth it for this game. The music's just too good, and it just doesn't seem to save that much time. Alright, so this is one of the levels we didn't really see much of on the first visit, because there's just so much in this level that's locked behind the keys that we got. And Yeti Serengeti is supposed to be like a very early game level, so you wouldn't typically have the keys that I have now when entering for the first time. So there's another thing is we also want to, because of the lag situation, we want to enter every cave only once. If we enter every cave only once, first of all, we don't have to go through the lantern animation, which you may have noticed at the beginning of every single cave entrance. There's a lantern animation where the lantern has to turn on and Spyro can't really move for a couple seconds. So we skip one of those every time we only enter a cave once. But also you avoid having so much lagging the game out with Fire Breath. Bentley here. Good old Bentley. Once again, all of Bentley's items are in chests. So Yeti Serengeti is actually the only level size Moneybags manually visit 3 times. And that's because since most of Bentley's equipment is in chests, how do I explain this? Since most of his equipment is in chests scattered throughout all the worlds, and Yeti Serengeti also has a lot of stuff that's tied to a lot of other quests, it just makes no sense to do Yeti Serengeti 3 times. There's probably other ways you could route another level 3 times instead, but I think this is the fastest, no matter what. Again, avoiding push mechanics here by just flying over the ledges, is pushing the frozen spring box, which is what those goats are. Kind of annoying. And something, I don't remember if I mentioned this earlier, but I try to, as much as possible, enter cutscenes and dialogue with gems surrounding me, so that Sparks has something to do while I'm mashing through text. The Sparks will continue to collect gems while you're mashing through text. So it's good to flame barrels or break vases before talking to an NPC or picking up an item. Because then Sparks is doing something, you don't have to wait as long for him to pick up gems. This is also a very strange area of the game.
Yeah. Just certain areas of this game just don't make sense to me.
I don't know if I have this memorized, so if I screw up, it's my fault. 2 1 1 2 3 1 3 2 1 1 2 3 1 3 2 1 1 2 3 1 3 2 1 1 2 3 1 3 2 1 1 2 3 1 3.
Is that a zip code?
No, it's the order of the statues.
Yeah, I know. I'm just...
3.
Let me look it up.
Alright, and all that is to get some gems in here, and also...
it's in Italy.
It's in Italy? Oh, wow. Speaking of Italy, and,
yeah.
Speaking of Italy and Europe in general, this game is actually not called Spyro Attack of the Rhynocs in Europe. It's called Spyro Adventure. I just died. Cool. It's called Spyro Adventure in Europe. So if you're European and you're wondering what the heck is Spyro Attack of the Rhynocs, you might know this game is Spyro Adventure instead. Cool. This is one of the worst worlds to miss gems in because it just takes forever to go out of the cave or warp back to the front of the area. It's one of those worlds where you have to walk from the first section after you warp, unfortunately. So missing gems there is kind of a bad thing. Missing gems anywhere is a bad thing, but especially there. Now we do our bird barracks revisit. And here's where we're going to get our first heart from a quest. So now we have all the medals from Sergeant Bird for this particular quest. And so we get the heart of bird barracks here, but we still have to do some more stuff. So we'll go ahead and do that now. The route for the second half is built around what items you're able to get when. So, for example, I just got the last item for the Bird Barracks Heart quest in Yeti Serengeti. So I immediately go to Bird Barracks after Yeti Serengeti because I'm able to, because I can get the heart. Here's the second auto-scroller, by the way. So yeah, the route kind of works that way. You kind of complete levels based on what items you have currently. And typically, you're able to finish at least one quest per world, and that determines how the route goes. Yeah, I can literally mash this the entire time. But unfortunately, enemy hitboxes here. I don't know. He's dropping bombs, man. The hitboxes on these ranks are kind of weird too, as with most things in this game. Yeah, so I could literally mash his button. It's really hard. And still miss the Rhynocs. Yeah, he's just dropping bombs. You know? Literally just... There's like bomb shells on the ground too. They should be blowing up as well. This whole area should be on fire. Okay, I'll stop now. I'm sure this is annoying some people. It's also better to not mash because it helps with accuracy. Mashing, I don't know, it just feels less accurate to me. Oh, that was really close. That guy almost went off screen. Once again, if I miss any of these guys, I have to redo the whole mission. That's very slow. I imagine. Sometimes I'm in a habit of mashing B. I think it's better to just shoot one bomb down, typically. Because there's a precision to it. Okay. Through. And he gives us the Sergeant Bird action figure. Makes sense. There's another one of Bentley's equipment. Once again, all in chests. Which is why we don't do the Yeti Serengeti Heart quest until the third visit. So like, the next level after this is Rabbit Habitat. We go to Rabbit Habitat after this because we get the last heart quest item for it again. We'll see Bianca. I know someone was wondering about that earlier. we'll get to see Bianca. Once again, avoiding the walruses at all costs. They're very annoying. And these guys are very annoying again. Now, the little side mission here is to rescue 5 penguins from their outposts. Or they're stranded now because they don't have ice bridges. This is the last item here for Bianca's quest.
Wait, that penguin just like walked on the bridge, but like didn't exist at the time.
Yeah, I call him the Jesus penguin. He can walk on water. They don't care. They could have gotten back by themselves, but we really need this item, so we're just gonna pretend like they're really in danger.
Like they definitely could have swam over that little tiny gap.
Yeah. Oh man, I glide here. I forgot. Oh, they get smaller too. Like that first one was the longest one. There's one over here that's like super short. This guy definitely could have freaking swum across.
They're penguins for like crying out.
Yeah, again, trying to break this barrel so Sparks has something to do, but unfortunately I didn't get the second one, so still have to do that. I did my best to try to memorize where these panels were so I could make myself look cool, but I'm probably going to forget a few of them. Didn't miss any gems there. Yeah, you need to have, like, basically all 4 Spyro's feet touching the panel for it to work. It's kind of annoying. Sometimes you think you're on it and you're just not.
Finding that area was so irritating as like a kid.
Yeah.
It's just, you don't know it's there.
There is actually a map feature in this game, but you never see it used in the speedrun because I just know where everything is. Now we're going to rabbit habitat. Another level we didn't really see much of in our first visit. Yeah, so these mole hats are very annoying, especially at 80% when you're in good pace. Because they really like to troll you, especially like this one right here. Yeah, it's like that. It's also very difficult with the GameCube D-pad. Because the GameCube D-pad does not like to cooperate. Dude. Sometimes you get stuck against walls too. The breath just doesn't work because it gets eaten by the wall. So I think that's what happens. Oh, I hope I got everything there. Spark's got like a last second gem. It's best. It's in some cases it's really good to have Spyro collect gems as well. Usually you rely on Sparks, but it's really easy to forget that Spyro actually does collect gems if he touches them. So that's a very useful strat sometimes, especially in that particular virtual hideaway. I don't think I've ever done that faster actually. So after this world, oh, here's Bianca, by the way. Where's Bianca? She is the quest giver for this area. This song is one of the coolest animations in the game, too.
Oh yeah, with the box.
Yeah. It's the only one I saw as a kid, so it's very impressive. Once again, all of the items for request are literally out in the open. They're all flowers, so it's really the only way you can complete without doing Age of 9 missions. We just got the heart for rabbit habitat. Gonna clean up some gems here, and then after this, we'll be seeing the one of the last quick escapes of the run. We'll be doing one more, I think, after this one, but we quick escape out of rabbit habitat because we need to get the last of the gems in Dragon Shores, and conveniently, they're very near to where the quick escape spot is. Text skip here. Let's go. I got the text skip. If you pause on the right frame there, wait, we're quick escaping. Sorry. Oops. Wasted time there. But yeah, if you pause on the right frame, you could skip Sparks' text box, or grab an item on the same frame that you grabbed the last gem. It's actually pretty easy to do. Yeah, so we have to go to the Dragon Shores Virtual Hideaway, which is right here. And this should be the last gems in Dragon Shores. If it's not, then we have a problem, because Dragon Shores has the most gems of any world.
Very
sorry.
It's a very large area. It's
yeah,
very diverse.
Yeah, Dragon Shores is like Dragon Shores is kind of like the hub world, essentially. It's like the one big hub world. Something I didn't get earlier. Well, I can get it now. Yep, I got it. Let's go. So that's called Bug Clip or Bug Zip, whatever. I don't know what you call it, but
I don't even refer to it as anything.
yeah, that saves about 4 seconds, I think. Just because the bug usually flies you up there. That basically just happens because when Spyro's in a wall, he zips upwards to wherever the floor is. The game won't let Spyro stand out of bounds, so it puts him wherever the floor is above him. So that saves some time. It's really cool to get. I'm glad I got it at least in one of the runs.
I normally don't. I don't think I got it in world record for any percent.
Yeah. It's kind of precise. You really need to have the bug right up against the wall. And like if you don't get the setup, then it's not really worth going for. But it is cool to get every once in a while. The bug just doesn't like to cooperate. The virtual hideaway for this is like really far away. Also, learned recently you can jump between that water thing right there, a little patch of water. So this is actually like the only world where we're going to clear all the gems before we actually get all the items for the world. We'll get the rest of the gems for Fairy Library in this vault. So this nice little Ripto action figure. Okay, you didn't miss anything here, you good. Just have a few more items to collect. Since Fairy Library is the first area we visit in the game, we obviously didn't open any chests whatsoever, so there's like 3 or 4 chests to open here, I think. 3 chests, I think. Savannah. Another way you can lose time is by accidentally warping to the wrong world, which I've done a few times. It's very easy to do that if you're not careful.
It's just so satisfying collecting everything at the end. All the chests being opened.
Yeah. I find the 100% of this game to be very satisfying. Yeah.
Any percent is just very stressful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, missing one thing at 80% can cause the entire run to fall apart. Like failing Banana Savannah earlier, Ripto Skip, or that one jump in Dragonfly Oasis several times really just kills runs.
So you miss it once, then you miss it twice, and it's just like, too much time lost.
might still be able to sub to this. I'm not sure. Might be close. Yeah. I learned this category in August of this year, so I'm still even relatively new to it. Only Jumpy Left had really done a run of it before, so I've come up with my own route since learning the category. Had a lot of fun with it, really pushing it down by myself. I would love to see more people run it, though. I think it's very fun, even though the Agent missions can be annoying. Circuit missions can be kind of crazy at times. I think the cleanup in itself is worth the run, to be honest. The cleanup is super fun.
Yeah, I'm tempted, but I don't know if I'll end up learning this at some point.
Just random room. In lieu of a cave, we have a storage room. Here. Oh yeah, this is definitely still sub-doable. That was my goal for this. So here, this level was actually used to be after the next level that I'm doing, but in this new route, it makes more sense to do it before. The next world after this is Yeti Serengeti 3, which is where we're going to get the heart for Yeti Serengeti. In the old route, we would have gotten all the items for it already before going to Kangaroo Hoodoos 2. But in this route, we have to visit Yeti Serengeti 3 after Kangaroo Hoodoos, because we won't have all the items for that quest until I collected this item up here, which is conveniently on the way to Virtual Hideaway. Right here. One of those out-of-the-way Virtual Hideaways. Out in the corner. And I really wish it didn't change Spyro's color back after the transitions. It would make it so much more fun. But I still think it's a fun item. I'm glad that it was able to be an incentive.
We met that incentive real fast, too.
Yeah. Dude, people really wanted to see it, I guess. I hope people have enjoyed seeing Spyro just randomly change colors. Just like that. Did I miss one? I did miss one. Shoot. Probably an enemy. I want to check.
What gem is it? A 10 gem?
Let's see. That's a 5. Okay. Okay, yeah, I know which one I probably missed. These two flying enemies up here. Not that guy. One of these guys, probably. Yep. Here we go. They both give 5s, so it's helpful to know which enemies give what gems to.
I was thinking maybe it would have been in the vault, but...
Yeah, usually I don't end up missing gems in the vaults or the virtual hideaways. Usually I'm pretty good about not missing those. It's usually enemy gems or just random gems that happen to be lying around kind of out of the way. There was one time, I'll point this out when I get there, where in Cheetah Spot, there was a gem like hidden in a corner that I just completely missed. I'll do a little jump here. Here, get Bentley's stuff. He's gonna get us his heart. Almost done. Now our last area is we gotta go Thieves Guild again. Gotta get an item here. This item clears Cheetah Spot Spa. And since we did the vaults in one visit before, we don't have to do it again here, which we used to have to do. It saves 40 seconds. Give or take. Why you would put a vault in a Thieves Guild is beyond me, but Moneybags logic is infallible, I guess. Kill these guys since I missed an enemy this run. guy will give us the heart for Thieves Guild. Yeah, so it's basically a rush to the end at this point. We're getting there. Just one more area, 2 more areas to visit before we head back to the professor. This is also the longest cutscene in the game.
I forgot about this.
Yeah, he spends he takes his time here. He's just gonna get it out of the save for us, right? And then it explodes. And he's like, "Oh, that didn't go well." Which is the last world here. All we need here is the heart, and we need the vault and the virtual hideaway. Usually that's how it goes. You need the heart, the vault, and something else. I missed an item somewhere. Okay. You did not give me the thing.
I nearly saw what it was in the replay, but I didn't catch it.
It's... Oh wait, I didn't even get the heart from Banana Savannah. Oops. I missed something. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I know what I did. Okay, that's a really bad item to miss.
Oh, it is.
Okay, yeah. This unfortunately is going to go over estimate, and I feel bad about that, but hopefully I can make up for it tomorrow with 90%. Okay, I know what item I missed, and it's kind of dumb that I missed it because I have a note in my split specifically telling me to not miss this item. So unfortunately, Bird Barracks is one of the levels that you get warped to the front of the area instead of the second half. So I just forgot to talk to the penguin here. And then I also need to go to Banana Savannah, so I forgot the heart.
Weird to say, but it is very easy to forget about collecting certain items in this game.
Oh yeah, definitely. Some things are just so out of the way. I like how I didn't even notice that. I wouldn't have noticed that until I got to the professor as well. Which is the crazy thing. So it's interesting I noticed it on the way. So getting the other item. Now it is the heart. Little plastic sunglasses. That's the heart of Cheetah Spot Spa.
Get to hear this banger of a track one more time.
Yep. Didn't miss anything here, that's good. Alright, and then the last item we need is the Heart of Moneybags Mansion. You may notice we have 3,500 gems right now, and we're about to spend every single one of those gems on this heart. Okay, that should be everything we need besides one more item. I do need a quick escape. Oops. Last quick escape of the run. One more item, that's the Heart of Dragon Shores. I've thought about talking to this guy earlier, but I haven't quite implemented that into my route yet. As you do pass by him in the beginning of the run. And time will be on the credits appearing.
Back to the beginning.
Time. Dang, barely sub 202. My apologies for going over estimate, but I think that was fun.
It's not that far over.
Yeah. I hope everybody enjoyed. Very fun game. I would encourage more people to pick this up. When you get to a pretty high level at it, the movement becomes very fun. But any percent, I think, is also a very fun category. Hopefully, you all stick around for that tomorrow.
Hell
a little
yeah.
later in the night. But yeah, anyway, I've been Breadghost. I mostly run 3D Mario games. I'm a multi-Mario runner, but this game is a special place in my heart. So hope everybody enjoyed.
And GG
thank you.
to you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for doing the run, and I guess we'll see you tomorrow night. You'll be running the any percent version of this.
Right.
Is that gonna be greatly different from what we're seeing here?
Actually, yeah, it is going to be quite a bit different. It's significantly shorter, first of all. We won't be visiting 2 entire worlds that we visited tonight.
Oh, wow, okay.
So, and there's also 2 extra skips that I'll be using to beat the game as quickly as possible.
And Jake, will you be joining us for that tomorrow as well?
I will be.
Perfect. It'll be great to have the world record holder there to provide us with some commentary. In the meantime, up next we do have Spyro Orange, the Cortex Conspiracy, any percent. That'll be done by Tokoloni 1. So stick with us for that.
Please do.